We took one of our clients, one of our first clients, Connor, from $0, literally with a non-existing coaching program, course, community, nothing at all, to well over six figures in his coaching program in the past 11 to 12 months. Now, in this video, Jack and I are going to break down exactly how we did this for Connor. And so this video is going to be purely dedicated towards how we made Connor a shit ton of money and how we also made money by making him money. And by the way, if you are a creator or a coach with an online presence and you want to monetize your audience, sell a coaching program to them, but you're struggling because, there's a lot of things that go in play, click the link in the description below to apply to work with us. But honestly, guys, I would say watch the entire video first and then see if it makes sense for you to click the link below, because I want you to understand exactly what we did for Connor, which we could potentially even do for you. This is going to be one of the many case studies coming up. We're going to also be flying out to USA from Australia to see Connor actually sometime this year and do like an in-person case study very soon. So stay tuned for that. But for this video, for the sake of this video, it's going to be me and Jack breaking down everything for the high ticket offer. So let's get into it.
All right, Goresh, what we're going to be doing in this video, man, going through a bit of a
Jack.
case study with one of our bigger clients, Connor or Boss Griff on TikTok. When did we like reach out to this guy? So we're like
Bro, we reached out to
last,
him, I
yeah,
think probably a year ago now, like 12-ish months ago, but we only really like took his stuff to the next level, his info products to the next level, I'd say 5 months ago. Before that, it was just a low ticket. So
pretty
big
much,
transition.
yeah. And high ticket has been the
Yeah,
our absolute best, like the best decision that we could have probably ever made, I'd say, for this guy.
100%. And it was your idea actually, because I didn't really watch any YouTube videos and you were like, yo, look at PA, he's doing high ticket. I'm like, what's high ticket? And then we got into it. But before that was just low ticket, just watching, Eddie's videos, which worked and still works. It's just high ticket has the biggest ROI for you if you do the
Absolutely.
things correctly. Yeah.
If you're a creator and you're looking to start like a low ticket in 2025, you should
Mm.
probably like reconsider. Unless you've got like 2 million, 3 million followers, like a mil followers, and they're really, really engaged potentially. But like end of the day, having a good high ticket launch will make you more money. It's just harder to set up than a low ticket. Low tickets is like pretty easy to start. It's hard to maintain, whereas high ticket is, yeah, hard to start
Mhm.
and then it's pretty easy to maintain after you have all the systems in place. So in the video, I'm just going to go through a little bit about like what the exact method was that we used for Connor, as well as just some numbers as well. We'll just go through that right now. So I'm going to share my screen
Oh
quickly.
yeah.
Yeah, cool, cool, right now. Cool. So you should be able to see this right here is some of the clients that we've worked with. Now I'm just going to show numbers of what we've been making. With Tim, started working with him about 2 months ago, been able to run up that number right there. We only really started this high ticket like a month and a half ago. But he was able to hit those numbers in his first ever launch high ticket. We've got Perry here. Now, it's more than this amount, but this is just what we collected on day one of his webinar. So we
Yeah.
ran a webinar for him. We're able to collect this amount of money in like 11, like in 2 hours of the webinar going. So not bad at all. We've got Hemi here. So this is across around one and a half launches. We had a one legitimate launch, and then we had another launch towards the end of last year, a couple of days ago that we ran up. So that's him. And now this is the big one. This is the one we're going to be talking about in this video, Connor. So this is one of our bigger clients, like we just spoke about. We've been doing these sort of numbers for his high ticket, as well as this one. And there's probably another 10K unaccounted for there that we've collected in deposits, like on Zelle and on Cash App, stuff like that, right?
That's
But
right.
this is Connor. This is his accounts on all of these. And the reason why we were able to get to those numbers is because we had a really good foundation, right, for Connor. That was our number one thing. If we had a crappy foundation and the high ticket that we launched originally wasn't good, it would be pretty hard to scale. Would you agree? Chris is like,
Completely agree. And it's like, yeah, the foundations were really strong, but compared to the first launch and like to what the foundations are now, like initially it was just really messy as compared to what it is right now. So it's like
Absolutely.
at the start, if you launch high ticket or low ticket, but in this case high ticket, it's not going to be a perfect system. It only gets
Mm.
better over time as you keep trying it and trying it and
Yes.
trying it.
Yeah. So those were the numbers that we've hit so far with Connor. Most likely around 100K cash collected profit. So this isn't revenue. This is all just profit into the account. And like I said, probably around 10K unaccounted for there as well. So the exact protocol that we used for Connor on his first ever launch. Now, like Goresh said, it was messy, but this is what you needed to do. We needed to screw up. We needed to have those mistakes initially to then be able to scale Connor to where he's at now, right? The initial launch week was 5 steps, pretty simple. Number one, and the most important one is marketing research, guys. So this was the make or break for us. If we didn't do marketing research, I'd say we probably would have missed out on 4 or 5 out of the 15 initial people that we got into the program for to 2,500 US. Because through marketing research, it was literally just us talking to people and them committing to take payment whenever we launched. So exactly, yeah. Not only were we
Yeah.
taking money, like we were not only just getting information from them, but a lot of these people who we actually interviewed to get information about what a potential offer would be for Connor, we ended up actually just selling them later on because they were so committed. So it's a cheat code, really. If you do good marketing research, it's absolutely a cheat code.
100%. And the best way, honestly, to do market research, if you've never done it before, is to just conduct some calls with the
Yeah.
person's audience because you can't go wrong that way. You can have a survey out there, but that's only going to do so much because a lot of people just like fill out a form without really thinking about the questions in it. But if you hop on
Yeah.
a call with them and they actually show up and they answer the questions for you, they're so much more qualified to actually purchase something from the creator for when you do launch, and they're like on the wait list as well for the offer launches.
100%. Yeah. It's very rare that you're going to get people who commit to actually buying the product or who are really invested in the marketing research phase if you just do a survey. It's very, very rare that
Yeah.
that would ever happen. So marketing research number one for Connor, that took us around 3 days. We just took around 14 calls. And like I said, we had 15 spots for this initial launch at 2,500. Very simple mentorship launch. And out of those 15, I think 4 or 5 literally just came from marketing research calls. So we took calls with 4 or 5 of the 14 people that we interviewed, and 4 or 5 of them actually ended up just buying immediately. So that was the first one. From marketing research, we were able to do offer creation. So we crafted an offer up, which was based off of the marketing research, and it involved for Connors, as an example, one-on-one mentorship, weekly group calls and access to his knowledge about ATMs and scaling an ATM business. Obviously, that's the niche that he's in. It'd be different for each person, but those were the main things. Pretty simple, right? Like in terms of just what they we got
Yeah.
for
We had
that.
a very basic understanding on what the offer was, but the thing is that we knew enough to do a launch.
Yeah,
And that's what sold people. So if you have hesitations of like, do people really want this? Yes, they do. If you did your market research, just follow that. And it'll make sense as long as you just t like keep taking action.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
For him, the end number, like in terms of money or money wise, was actually 2,500 for him, right? That was the number that we got to. Now, Goresh and I were debating whether or not we should increase the price, decrease the price, but end of the day, guys, we went with 2,500 because that's what the people wanted. It's very hard to like take a guess and take a stab in the dark when you don't have the data. We had data that supported that number, which is why we went forward with it. Because I think a lot of people even ask you, Goresh, who might have like 1 or 2 clients, what do I price it at? What do I price my
Mm.
first launch at? It's quite a common thing.
Yeah, a lot of people have that concern of, like what if it's just too expensive? Or I've seen
Mm,
some people that charge like 4K and I'm like, okay, what have your audience really said on how much that they can afford? And they're like, what? I'm like, what do you mean what? Like you should be knowing what they can afford. And then those are the offers that just flop because no one
mm.
can afford it. So
Yeah.
price
And
point
then
is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the creator gets burned from that because they're like, I just
Correct.
wasted time on this, or they believe that no one would want to buy their product, which is absolutely not true.
Mm,
What ended up happening was that you had an audience which wanted one thing, there was a market demand for it, and you literally gave them the exact opposite. It's like
correct.
going to a fancy
Yeah.
restaurant, someone asks for lobster, and you get a Big Mac in return.
Yeah.
Like it's completely different. You know what
That's
I mean?
true.
So that was the offer creation. Once that was formulated, we were down for the 5 day content lead up. So all in all, we say 1 week launch protocol. It might be closer to 10 days, but if it was 1 week, this would take like 1 or 2 days. Offer creation is an instant thing. You really just understand immediately, okay, this is what the offer that we're going to move forward with. And then we'd set up landing pages, etc., which again don't take that much time. But the 5 day content lead up, which would accelerate us to the actual launch day, consisted of Connor reposting his most viral content or refilming it in a different way and just having a CTA, like a call to action at the end of all of those videos. So Connor was short form originally. He was a big short form content creator. So at the end of all of his TikToks and all of his Instagram reels, we basically pushed people to comment a keyword, which would then allocate them to our wait list for the launch day. So we would get their information, we'd get their Instagram handle, their email address, and their SMS number. So we would have that ready to do a big email and SMS blast on launch day. So 5 days content lead up until the very last day, where we had Connor film an actual VSL, like a TikTok VSL, a short form VSL, which explained the offer a little bit more. And it pushed people to click a link in his bio or DM a keyword, which would push them to that landing page, that link in their bio. So that was the launch, like pretty simple content leader, but very, very important. If you're not promoting the offer that you've just formulated, no one is going to buy. It's so crucial to have that. Yeah.
Yeah, and keep in mind that we did not even use a single paid ad over here. Now,
Yep.
obviously, that's not for every case, but for this case, or in your case, if you have a lot of organic traffic, use that to your like in your favor. Just post
Yep.
more, get more organic traffic, and get people aware of something that's coming up soon. So
Yep.
you have to really capitalize on organic before you even think about paid ads. Because I've seen people that are planning on paid ads, and I'm like, dude, you have so much organic potential that you're just sleeping on at the moment. So if that's you, use organic and then consider paid ads later on if need be.
Absolutely. Very, very
Yeah.
true. So that was the end of the actual offer ideation. And this is where the big sort of thing, like the most important part of this offer really took place. And that's actually closing these sales calls that were booked in and making money for the creator, Connor. So all of this was taken care of by us. We had ourselves closing these deals. Nowadays we have a full sales team, but obviously back in the day we just had us two closing the deals. We had, I forget, quite a few calls booked in, and pretty much closed most of them. And the reason behind that was our qualification process on the landing page and just what we like our vetting process for who was actually allowed to book a call in was very, very in depth. So only the people who booked calls in were the people who really wanted the offer. They had a very good understanding of what the offer was, how much money it cost, what the time commitment on their behalf was, and they were ready to buy. A lot of the orders, a lot of the sales calls were just order takes. We just hopped on the call. They said, I know how much money it is. I've got one question. Can you answer it? We would answer it, and then they'd pay us. Pretty
They're
simple.
already sold. Yeah, a lot of them were sold.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was a pretty simple system. So we had about, I forget the exact number of calls booked in, but we ended up generating just around 25 to 30K on that first launch because
Yep.
we were booking in 2,500, I think it was around, yeah, 30K. We had the offer at 2,500. So we booked enough calls to reach that number. And the very important part after this one was the strict cutoff. So once we hit that number, that monetary number, we did close the offer. Now, a lot of people would see that because we actually did have a lot more calls booked after we shut the offer down, and they'd say, "Oh, well, what's the point like in just closing it down? You've got more people wanting to buy into this. Like, is that an issue?" And most of the time, it's a no. Obviously, if someone's begging to be let in, we would let them in because it's just an extra 2,500. But it's very important that you do shut this down because what this first offer was wasn't actually to make money. That's a big thing. Obviously, that was one factor. We got paid while we did it, but a big factor of this first launch, if you're a content creator and you're wanting to launch an info product the first time, is absolutely understanding your audience better. So when we had these people in the program and we sold them in, the number one thing that we did once they were inside and they were getting mentorship from our client Connor was ask them non-stop questions. So we asked them, like, what do you like about this program? Did you think it was too much money? What would you want added to this program in the future? Etc., etc., etc. Right? That's what we asked them loads and loads of
Yeah,
questions about that stuff.
exactly. And like when you shut the doors to a coaching program, as Jack just said, it's like you can still accept people in the back end, but not publicly announce that you're still taking on spots. Because obviously, if there's a person that wants help and if they actually qualify and if they're not going to like waste your time, sure, you can let them in, but only make limited exceptions over there. And I guess the whole idea of like this whole five-step process is the client, like Connor had only one job to fulfill the people that we handed over to him. We literally tell Connor, like, hey, Connor, these people have already paid you. It's your turn to do your job. We handle literally everything before that, the salespeople, the sales systems, everything. And a lot of people think that they can do everything themselves, and we've seen that fail like miserably so many times. So that's
Yeah.
one really important pill to swallow that a creator cannot do everything themselves. You do need a lean team to actually help you at the start and even scale.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're going to get into that in a second as well
Yeah,
about what we actually take care of. But basically, closing out this offer, guys, we did end up with that number at 30K profit. Revenue was a bit different because we had, I think, a few people on payment plans who were wanting
yeah,
to do more. So revenue was around 40. But cash collected was 30K for that offer. We closed it down and then we relaunched it next month with a basically renewed offer. So the way that we're able to tweak our offer and make it better the next launch was like we said, we asked all of the members inside the offer a bunch of questions about how we could improve it, what the pricing was like for them, if it was too much, if it was too little, what they'd want added to the program in the future, just little things like that. We made the necessary tweaks and we reaped the benefits in the next launch, right? So this is a very, very simple 1 week launch protocol. It's effective because it actually works and it will show you, okay, is my audience receptive to a info product? Like, will they actually buy? Because if you do this correctly, it'll be a very clear sign of, does this actually work for me? Or am I cooked and I'm not going to be able to make any money from my audience? It's pretty clear cut.
yeah,
So that being said, this is sort of what we actually took care of for Connor in this little document, and there's a few extra stuff as well here. Obviously, number one, closing sales. We handled all of the sales stuff related to this offer. Closing, setting, even the VSL, we scripted that out. So the sales letter, the video, on the front page of the front page of the landing page, was scripted by us, right? So we did all of that stuff. Brings us to the next point, building out landing pages. We completely did a complete landing page for our client, completely done by us. We did A to Z, everything there. I might even be able to show you an example of the landing page that we did for Connor, or
yeah,
a renewed one, essentially.
yeah. One of the newer
Um,
ones.
yeah, this one right here. So this is
Yeah,
the
this is one of the
newest
new.
one that we've launched for Connor. Video sales letter here. Obviously, this copy all done by us. Um, the some testimonials, like pictures of people who have bought the program. Obviously, it's been around for a little while now, so we've got actual testimonials. Again, more images here, and then just apply now. Simple but effective. It works. It pushes people to watch this video sales letter, and it's like effective. It actually gets people to click through to the type form, which is the next step, where we even further qualify. And then at the end of that funnel, then we would book them in for a sales call if they qualify for everything.
Exactly.
So that's that. Appointment setting we've done. Growing his social media. We've grown Connor from 30K on Instagram to around 200K at this point in the span of a couple of months, I think around 3 or 4 months. TikTok, again, he was 150K when he met us. He's on 600K now across around 5 months' time, or 4 or 5 months. Basically, all the marketing aspects. So scaling the business, hiring and firing process, Full scale marketing, full stack marketing. That's what we covered. Is there anything else, Chris, that I'm missing there?
Not really, but even just, regular sort of uh checkups on the client as well, and sort of
Yeah,
making sure everyone in the team is um being tapped on every single day to
yeah.
make sure everything is on track. And even I don't think many people do this, but we also make sure the people that join these coaching programs are satisfied. And I
Mm,
think most people in the info space, they just sort of leave it to the clients, but we just take the extra step to also
yeah,
take that headache away from you and actually, make sure everyone inside is having a good time as well. So that's another thing.
absolutely. Yeah, 100%. If the customer's happy, we're happy.
Yeah.
So that's basically everything, guys. Pretty simple 1 week launch protocol here. We've got the clients that we work with. Obviously, this is Connor again,
Yeah.
the revenue. So if you are a coach or a content creator or someone who's looking to finally monetize their audience or even scale their current offer, there's going to be a link in the description of this video, which is going to send you to a page that Gresh and I own, our company page. You're going to be able to look over a video that me and him would have recorded and basically see if you would apply to, or see if you would qualify to work with us, essentially, right? There's going to be a form there that you're going to be able to fill out. And if it does look like a good fit, we'll hop on a call. We'll discuss how we could potentially replicate some of the same results that we've gotten for Connor for you. So if that's of interest to you, again, link in the description. But besides that, anything else you want to add, Gresh? Or are we
I think
pretty
that's
much done?
everything. I mean, we'll make some separate videos on each client as well, but this one is like more dedicated towards Connor for sure.
Absolutely. Awesome, guys. Have a good one.